We can have your attention. We'll go ahead and call to order tonight's Committee of the Whole for the April 16, 2019 meeting. City Council, you have the minutes from the April 2nd Committee of the Whole. Do I have any corrections to those minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes carry. Tonight we have a couple of appointments to our library board. Normally, Mayor Pro Tem Beth Whitten would handle that for us, but she is out of town on a business trip this week. And so I have asked Brett Smith, Councilman Brett Smith, to handle that for us. He has spent an invaluable amount of time over at the library since he became a member of this city council, hosted his ward meetings over there and been involved in some of their activities. So he will handle the library board appointments for us tonight. Brett?
Mayor, I'd like to nominate the following two parties, or two persons. Dr. Betty Burgess as our first nominee.
Okay. We have the nomination of Betty Burgess. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a nomination and a second. We'll vote on Ms. Burgess in just a minute. All right.
The second being Miss Karen Herring as a second.
Okay, and we have Ms. Karen Herring. Do I have a second for Ms. Herring?
Second.
Okay. Do I have any other further nominations?
I would like to nominate David Rosenblatt.
David Rosenblatt. Okay. All right. Ms. Taylor has nominated David Rosenblatt. Do I have a second for Mr. Rosenblatt?
Second.
All right, we have a second for Mr. Rosenblatt. Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Latha Bhavnani.
Spell that for me if you would.
Lathabvnani.
Okay. All right. There is a nomination for, yeah, we need a second for Bob's nomination.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Okay, are there any other nominations? Okay, now for discussion. We'll go through these as you would like, but why don't I'll just start with Ms. Burgess. I'm very supportive of Ms. Betty Burgess. She is a retired English teacher of the Auburn City School System at Auburn High School. She taught there for 25 years. She was department head for a number of those years. She is a very enthusiastic member of this community. She has come before this council and has shared her concerns and feelings about some of the things that have gone on in Auburn a number of times. But I know Ms. Burgess because she is a friend of my mom's, and I do believe that she'd be an excellent member of our library board.
I'd like to also highlight on Dr. Burgess that she, in her volunteer experience, has volunteered with the Lee County Literacy. She tutored with that organization. She is continuing to provide and write editorials in our newspapers, which I think is fantastic. And as you said, Mayor, she's a former educator in our school system. Excellent choice. All the people that applied were excellent candidates, but she stands out as someone that's going to really be able to work with the current library board, bring fresh new ideas. She definitely has vested her time in our community, and I think she will be a very excellent choice to add on to the library board.
Okay. All right, any other comments for any of our nominees here tonight?
Well, I would like to nominate David Rosenblatt. I worked with David at the Auburn University Library for years, and he worked in the archives division. And I just think that he would be a great asset to the university. And I see on his resume he worked at the library from 1976 to 2001. And I know David most of that time.
Okay.
So he would be a good candidate.
Thank you, Connie.
The reason that I spoke about Ms. Bhavnani was the fact that we all received a letter from the president of the Auburn Public Library Board where they specifically made a point of, I'm going to read from their letter. While the City of Auburn has a non-discrimination policy, our board would like to go on record as acknowledging that lack of diversity among our current members with the desire for change. And given Ms. Bhavnani's background and her life experience, I think she could speak to that particular request that we received from the library itself.
Thank you, Bob. Any other comments from any member of the council about any of these citizens who we have nominated for the library board?
And in that same line of thought, Mayor, I'd like to speak on behalf of the nomination of Karen Herring. Ms. Herring has young children who have gone through our school system, who have grown up in our library system. They were in our library, have used programs there. She herself is an accountant, which I think she brings as a mother and as a professional. I think she brings a nice, unique ideas to the library board. She's contacted me, reached out to me, and talked with me. I think she did. We had an exceptional conversation. She has a strong passion for the library. To me, I believe she has a strong passion to really grow our library and not grow it and grow to the outreach, to be able to grow not only books on a shelf, but the programming that we have, to be able to make sure that we're keeping our doors open and to all of our citizens. I think she's an excellent candidate for this.
All right, thank you.
I also spoke with Ms. Herring, and we had a terrific, warm conversation, very thoughtful person, and I agree with Brett. I think she'd be terrific.
Good, thank you, Bob. Any other comments from the council regarding any of these four nominees? Okay. All right, if not, we will move forward with a vote, and we'll do this one at a time. Okay? Lindsay, should we do this by hand? Is that the simplest way for you, for us to do that? Okay. All right, so we'll take these one at a time, and we'll see where we go. So all those in favor of Miss Betty Burgess, please raise your hand. Is that 5? Okay. All right. All those in favor of Miss Karen Herring, please raise your hand. Seven. Okay. All right. All those in favor of Mr. David Rosenblatt, please raise your hand. Okay.
Excuse me, are we supposed to be voting twice since we have
Yes.
two vacancies?
I'm sorry, Kelly. That was my confusion. I apologize.
So we can vote for two people?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, I didn't know that, okay.
All right.
We need to start over.
All right, well, let's start over then. Thank you. I own that, my bad. All right, let's start over. Miss Betty Burgess, all those in favor of Miss Betty Burgess, please raise your hand. Okay. Got 5 still? All right. All those in favor of Miss Karen Herring, please raise your hand. Okay. Mr. David Rosenblatt. Miss Lathy Bhavani. 1, 2, 3. Okay, is that 3? Okay, so according to our vote tonight, we have nominated and appointed Miss Betty Burgess and Miss Karen Herring, and we'll confirm that later on in the agenda. Certainly, I would like to say thank you to everybody who put their application in. I believe we had 16 applicants, and that's encouraging that many people wanted to serve our community. I'm very impressed with what's going on at the library, and I look forward to the great work of these 2 new members of the board and the board members that continue to be there and continue to foster the great work at the Auburn City Library. All right, next on our agenda is the Board of Education, and once again, Ms. Witten is not here, so I will begin by making a few comments. When the council made its nomination for the school board to fill the term of Ms. Tracy West, the council decided at that time that the person selected in March to fill Ms. West's unexpired term through May would be the same person that the council would appoint to succeed Ms. West for a full term on the Board of Education. So the state law requires that the Board of Education regular term vacancy be filled in April of the year in which it occurs. Therefore, tonight, I nominate Ms. Kathy Powell for a full term on the Auburn Board of Education. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second from Ms. Kathy Powell. Is there any discussion or questions from the council? Okay. If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries as well. Okay. All right. All right, anything else before we go to questions on the agenda?
Yes, the recent ADDU ordinance that we passed at the last city council meeting had a map attachment to it that indicated that one of the properties that was still under consideration or susceptible for an ADDU property was actually in the North Auburn Historic District, property directly across Mitcham Street from the depot. So that drew my attention to the map as a whole, and even though there are sufficient protections, I think, by the Historic Preservation Commission, which oversees the district, I would like to ensure that there is no possibility for encroachment in the historic district, Auburn's very small and only historic district, for the construction of ADDUs in the district itself. And also to prevent encroachment on the district from surrounding properties, I would also like to consider prohibitions for ADDUs on any property that abuts the North College Historic District. So, as I understand the process for that, is I need to see if the council is in agreement with asking the city staff to proceed with an amendment, which would then be forwarded to the Planning Commission, be advertised to the public, and be considered as if it was a regular amendment or ordinance. So with that, I'd like to see if anybody else has any comments, but if not, then I would like to ask the council if they would agree to have the city staff proceed in that direction.
Sure. Thank you, Kelly. Is there any questions or comments from the council for either Kelly or Mr. Buston regarding this?
Jim, what would be the process for the public through, if we were to, if the council would vote tonight in favor of pursuing that? I mean, Councilmember Griswold said it would go to planning, but what kind of time frame would we be able to get some sort of input?
So we would expect that we've missed the May meeting, so this would go to Planning Commission in their June meeting for consideration. Now, we never know, if they will consider it there, will they postpone it, table it to another meeting, whatever, but assuming that they consider it and pass on recommendations, we'll then have an advertising period, so it would come back to you again for a public hearing and your deliberation in the second meeting in July.
We would have at least 2 public hearings on this.
There would be at least 2 public hearings on that, yes.
Okay. Any other thoughts or questions from the council?
I'd like to point out that I'm a resident of the North Auburn Historic District, North College Historic District, and that we have sought legal opinion on whether or not it's appropriate for me to bring this forward. And the ruling from our council is that it'd be perfectly fine for me to do that because I'm not affected by it any more so than anyone else in the district would be affected by it. So just to make that clear, I did check into that.
Thank you, Kelly, for saying that. All right, any other questions, thoughts? Okay, so the council, is the council okay with moving forward, asking the staff to go ahead and to prepare some language that they would forward over to the planning department, planning staff, who would then set this up on the docket for the Planning Commission in June? Is the council okay with moving forward with that, or does anybody like to make a comment regarding that? So what we would do is be instructing the staff tonight to develop an amendment that would be deliberated at the commission level in June, and then depending on what the outcome of that,
Updating the district. And then whatever verbiage you need to make that legalese and maps and zoning and everything that accompanies that.
Does that get you what you need, guys?
Just for one small item of clarification, typically when the council has remanded a zoning issue to the Planning Commission, what we'll typically do is, depending on how broad the topic is, and I consider this to be fairly narrow in focus, what we would typically do is raise it to their attention informally, either at a standalone work session or at the tail end of a packet meeting. I think this is something that could be handled at the tail end of a packet meeting so they don't have to meet an additional time next month. And so that would be in May 6th. And so what we would be doing is sort of vetting that with them and looking for their direction on how to proceed so that they understand what would be coming on their agenda. Now, in the past, and I recall maybe a couple of years ago, there was an issue that was remanded to the Planning Commission that had to do with prohibiting front yard parking. And the Planning Commission vetted that and just forwarded a recommendation back to the council that they didn't really feel it was necessary to regulate it. And so what I would recommend is that we have that work session, then I would report back to the city manager what the Planning Commission's recommendation is, and then you can go from there.
I mean, I think, obviously, that's okay from where I sit. I mean, the important thing is that when the time comes for us to deliberate and ultimately vote on this, that there's a public hearing involved that allows the public opportunity to speak to it. And so, what I understand from what you're saying is that the Planning Commission could make a recommendation to the council and it not necessarily appear on the Planning Commission agenda?
Yeah, it wouldn't be unusual for them to take a look at it and maybe suggest something a little bit different or what have you. And so I just wanted to make sure that that was made known, that there would be an interim step before it would actually appear on their agenda formally in June.
Okay. Is everybody all right with that? Okay, so council, is everybody okay with us moving forward? Kelly's communicated to Forrest the terms of what we would be asking them to evaluate. Is everybody okay with that? And then ultimately, it'll end up here in one of our meetings and we'll vote on it, okay? Is everybody all right? Okay. So Jim, you've heard from us that we'd like for y'all to move forward with that, okay?
We will.
All right.
Another topic, I've received numerous, actually complaints about open burning in the city, particularly at construction sites and on land clearing sites. And so I would like the council to consider, again, directing the staff to prepare an ordinance for public advertisement and council consideration. I don't think this needs to go to planning based on our conversation with Mr. Buston. And the ordinance would prohibit open burning at construction sites and land clearing sites within the city limits.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the council regarding this? I would just say that right now, I'm not overly familiar with this topic. It's never come before me since I've been on the council. I do understand that Kelly's received a number of calls, and obviously his ward is where there's a lot of development going on, so I'm not surprised by that. I would maybe like to ask the council if they would consider either having a work session maybe before one of our Friday meetings and discuss this, or potentially put this on the committee of the whole for our next meeting where we can come and discuss this. The staff can prepare some information for us, and we can talk about this, maybe receive some comments from the private sector and people in our community who've been impacted by this, because I know right now I don't have enough information to make any kind of good determination.
I feel the same way, Mayor. I wouldn't know enough about it. I'd like to hear from our staff on what they feel about it, and the citizens, contractors, and citizens living there, and see what this is going, how much it's going to cost people that are trying to do something with their property. Or I just think it's a sticky situation because you don't want to restrict. I hate to restrict all burning, but I'm certainly open to listening to it and seeing, learning what I can learn about it. Right now, I don't know much about it, but I agree with you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And I'd be fine with either of those options, committee of the whole or a work session, whatever. I would like the council to discuss it and consider it.
Sure. Get some more information about it.
Yeah, I'd also second that, get the opinion of the fire department staff here on how they're handling it.
They'd be very critical on this.
Now, in my position in Opelika, this is an everyday occurrence for us, particularly in this time of year. There's a lot of clearing, and we issue burn permits on a routine basis. And we can talk later about my experience on that.
So if the council's okay, I'll work with City Manager Buston, and we'll create an opportunity either through a committee of the whole or through a work session, and we'll get some further discussion on this if everybody's okay with that. And we'll get that set up as soon as we can. Is that okay, Mr. Buston? Okay. All right. Any other things? All right. If not, questions on the agenda for City Manager Buston?
I have a question on the agenda, but I do have a question for the city manager, if I may, Mayor. Mr. Jim, where are we at on the traffic study that we've been waiting on for a while now? I'd like to be able to see that pretty soon if we could, get something done before fall.
Right. So the traffic study, staff has been meeting with there are two consultants. There's one for the traffic portion of it, and there's one for the biking portion of it. And staff has been meeting with that group, going over the report, making some recommendations on clarifying certain things that we don't understand. Those meetings are concluded. We have given all of our comments back to the consultants who are putting the final touches on the document. Our plan was to recommend that in May, possibly May 3rd, if we want to do it before a agenda meeting, of having the consultants give you a presentation of what's in that study, or have that as maybe a standalone work session in May. And then, once you have a chance to understand what's in it, publish it for the public to give them some time to look at it. Then also have one of the open meetings where the consultants will be there with the maps and everything, and people can come in and discuss it with them so they get a good idea, and they can give the consultants their feedback and actually see the different intersections and everything that the consultants have looked at. At least that is where we are right at this point.
Good, so you think probably next month we'll start seeing something on it? And
now, our plan is to bring it to you all for some meeting, whether it's before a packet meeting, or, an agenda meeting, or if it's a standalone meeting, just to have the consultants present it to you, and then we can start the process of having the public weigh in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tommy, for thinking about that. So, Jim, you and I will get together and we'll work on setting that as well. Okay. Any other questions for the city manager on the agenda or anything else?
I just wanted to bring up one of the things that we spoke about at the packet meeting the other day. It was about having an election in the end of July, and I've thought about this over the weekend and spoken to several people, and I believe that it is. I would like to see if we could move the election to August, when there are more people back in town from vacation and that type of thing. Can we speak on that? I know that you mentioned that there are particular dates that we can and cannot have that, so.
I believe there was. So it would have to be, in August, it would have to be the second or fourth Tuesday, and I don't know right on what those dates are.
So I'd like to see where we can go with that, because I do think.
So that'd be August 9th or August 23rd. No, sorry, wrong. Second or fourth, 6th. August 6th, which is a council meeting, we can't do it. And August 20th is a council meeting, which we can't do it.
But the second council meeting would be the 13th?
No, the first council meeting is August 6th, because the second council meeting would be August 20th.
All right, so the second Tuesday is August the 13th. It can be done on that date? Okay.
It could be on the 13th, yes.
Do we know what the first day of schools are this year?
I do not know.
Okay, could we check that? Jim, would you clarify for the audience what exactly we're talking about?
So the council has given the Auburn City School Board use of the city's 5 mil fund. And in order for the 5 mil fund to be used, it has to be used only for what the electorate agrees to allow it to be used for. So people basically have to vote on, it's an up and down vote. Yes, we want to use it for whatever is presented, or no, we don't want to use it for whatever is presented. So Auburn City Schools will come up with a, and I think they already have, come up with a set of projects, sort of like the renovation of Drake, the renovation of Cary Woods, maybe a roofing project on another school. Anyway, they'll have a series of projects that they want to do that the 5 mil fund will support. They go to the public and say, these are the projects we want to use the 5 mil tax fund for. Public votes yes or no on that. It has to be a vote of the public, and there are certain requirements that it has to be on certain days of the week, like David said, the second or fourth Tuesday of a month.
And Jim, the public has been voting on 5 mil projects for a long time now.
It's 1940-something, yes.
1940-something.
This is not a new tax. This is a tax that's collected. The only difference is that the requirement is that obviously, one of the requirements is the tax has to support what they want to do, has to have enough funding in it to support it. But then the public has to vote on that.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the council on this? Any thoughts? So, Jim, could you just possibly look into that date?
We can look into that.
And let's do some research and due diligence on that date and see if it's a possibility and maybe get a memorandum out to the council regarding if that's a possibility or not. Is that the best way?
I think the first thing I'd want to do,
First
thing I'd want to do, and I don't think that's an issue, but I would want to address this with the school board, or at least the superintendent, to make sure that they don't have some other deadline that they're trying to meet as well. I don't think there is, but it would be good to check.
And just so our citizens know, we need to have it on a non-council night because it does take the time of our staff to help.
Right, one of the requirements is I have,
the election.
as city clerk, I have to certify the vote.
Absolutely. Okay. Just trying to be clear and give everybody the full picture here. All right. Any other questions from the council on the agenda or anything else?
There was one other thing that we spoke at the packet meeting too, was that we don't really have clarity around, when we can put something on the committee of the whole. And I think we need to define that a little more clearly. So I would like to see us move forward with that as well.
So we talked about the other day, the rules that we put in place for how to introduce new subjects, to introduce new topics for the council to consider. We walked through that early. I think we did that before we were maybe even had our first meeting to discuss how we were going to do that. And after almost 5 months being completed, we'd like to go back and just maybe fine tune some of the wording in there so that we all understand exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we discussed that on Friday at our work session, Mr. Buston. So if we could continue to work on that and just evaluate the ordinance we currently have and to make it more efficient and more clear, I think that's what we're headed for. Is that okay, Stephen?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Anything else from the council? If not, I have moved to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Committee of the whole is adjourned.
Dawson,
Here.
Dixon,
Here.
Griswold,
Here.
Hovey,
Here.
Parsons,
Here.
Smith,
Present.
Taylor,
Here.
Whitten, Anders.
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? A moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Testing. There we go. Excuse me. Very proud tonight to recognize our Employee of the Month and Mr. Brett Wiersma. Would you please come forward? How you doing? Memo to City Manager Jim Buston for Jim McLaughlin, presiding judge, Auburn Municipal Court. I would like to take this opportunity to nominate Mr. Brett Wiersma as Employee of the Month for April. Brett has been a magistrate with the Judicial Department for a little over 2 years. In addition to diligently performing his day-to-day duties, Brett constantly seeks ways to improve the efficiency of the department and assist his colleagues any way he can. Recently, the Judicial Department changed the way it processes credit transactions. During the changeover to the new payment software, numerous issues arose that resulted in missed payments, the improper crediting of payments, and the misplacing of several citations. Despite diligent efforts by the vendor and the department, the errors continue to occur after the first few attempts at fixing the problem failed. Brett took it upon himself to begin tracking the missed payments and to create a log of all the issues reported by the customers, as well as those found by himself and the other judicial employees. Brett then corresponded daily with both the new and the old vendors and was instrumental in helping to diagnose and solve the transition issues. Furthermore, once the problem was solved, Brett single-handedly audited all payments made during the first few weeks of the changeover, which resulted in the location of several additional payments and lost tickets. Brett's initiative, attention to detail, and dedication to resolving issues was invaluable in assisting in the technological changeover and was instrumental in ensuring that there were no monetary or other losses to the city or its citizens. Therefore, I respectfully nominate Brett Wiersma as the Employee of the Month for April 2019.
Congratulations. Appreciate your work.
All right, during the Committee of the Whole, we made a couple of nominations to the Library Board, which we will confirm here in just a little while, Ms. Karen Herring and Ms. Betty Burgess. We also reappointed Kathy Powell to the School Board. Well, she'll be serving the first full term. We had a number of items from Mr. Griswold that we're going to be looking into and that the council will be having some work sessions to look into and discuss. And then Mr. Dixon asked us to also look at a couple things that we discussed at our work session on Friday, so we'll be moving ahead with that. Under Mayor's comments tonight, I just want to make a couple of comments. The city was informed this week that we're going to be receiving an honor from the Auburn Harrison School of Pharmacy for our collaboration and partnership to develop the health center over at the Boykin Community Center, and we look forward to being a part of that celebration here in the near future. And thank you for all the great hard work of our city staff and our elected officials to make that happen, and that'll be a great evening over at the Jewel Collins Smith Museum. City Fest has really become a highlight of our calendar in the spring each and every year, and that's a week from Saturday. There's been a lot of hard work from volunteers and city staff to make that happen out at Kiesel Park, and we'll pray now for good weather next Saturday. But encourage those of you who are looking for something fun and family-oriented to do to please go out to Kiesel Park next weekend and have a good time. The night before that, on the 26th, is the Mayor's Ball, and this will be the first ever Mayor's Ball for me as serving as mayor, and former Mayor Bill Ham and Mayor Gary Fuller started this. This is a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club. This year it'll be occurring at the new Delta building at the Auburn University Airport. So those of you who have not gotten a ticket, I encourage you to get a ticket. It's a good time, it's a fun time, and it helps raise money and awareness for a great organization in our community. Also, I will, myself and Mayor Pro Tem Beth Whitten and Mr. Buston will begin planning for Auburn 2040. This is something that we've been discussing. It was discussed during the campaign. The plan is for Auburn 2040 to occur next summer, during the summer of 2020. And this is a citizen-led, staff-supported strategic plan for the future of the city of Auburn. And so we'll begin the planning of that. We'll eventually be looking for great people in our community to lead committees, and we'll be putting some structure to that in the near future. But I did want to let you know that we're going to begin working on that well in the near future here. As a joke, I was going to ask tonight if Mr. Griswold would work with me to develop an ordinance around double dribbling. We were taken advantage of last weekend, and we'd like as the city of Auburn to keep that from occurring in the future. That is a joke. We're not bad losers, we're just disappointed. Tonight also is the last meeting for Kevin. Is Kevin here?
He was unable to make it tonight, sorry.
Okay, well, Assistant City Manager Kevin Cowper will be leaving us at the end of next week. He'll be going to the city of Dothan as their city manager. We're certainly happy and proud for Kevin for that opportunity in Dothan, but this will be his last meeting. I do think he'll be around serving the city well over the next week and a half, and I encourage you to go by and say goodbye to him and thank him for his good work, and he'll certainly be missed. Okay? All right, any comments from the council?
Well, I'd like to make an announcement. I don't know if this...
That's fine.
this the time to
You got it.
introduce? Okay, we have a group here tonight of young men, and I would like for, is this Miss Reese? Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Bird and Miss Reese to come up and introduce the group of young men and their contribution to the community. And what they're a part of.
Mayor, Council, thank y'all. I really appreciate this. My name is Quentin Bird. I'm a mentor with a group called Advancing Adolescence. And I will, it's actually it's organized by Dominique Reese. Okay, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. It's actually organized by Dominique Reese, who couldn't make it tonight, but his wife is here, Miss Christian, and she's going to explain a little bit about what the program does and how it helps our youth.
Hi. So typically, we started this as a way to combat, crime and just idle time for 6th and 7th graders. It grew into something way more. We really just thought this would be just a couple times a month meeting for maybe 10 boys. This grew into, how many we have? 40, close to 50 kids that we meet every other Friday. And we get together and we learn hard skills and soft skills. We learn about just how to choose friends, goal setting. We got a couple things up on the agenda soon. We'll be learning to change a tire, learning how to use power tools, different topics. One of the key elements in our program is exposure. Typically, what we find is some of our kids may not have access to other opportunities that some other kids have. And whatever the reason may be, parents working, financial issues, whatever the case may be, it's not their fault. So we're trying to do our best to level the playing field for everyone, to make sure that everybody has the same opportunities, to make sure that all of our kids can experience maybe going hiking, or I was able to go over to the Delta Aviation Building last night, which is amazing, and meet some of the pilots to hopefully be able to get all of our kids on a plane. Different things that we want them to be able to say they've experienced. Ultimately, I've got 4 boys with me tonight. I was able to grab them from school. So, and I can say that almost every meeting, these kids have been there on time. And this is a group of 6th graders. So our 6th graders walk from Drake, and we're gladly just so thankful that True Deliverance opened their doors to us. And so we walked that half a mile. We got about 25 kids that walk with us over from Drake, and furthermore, the community has fed us every Friday, home cooked meals or sponsored meals. So we are just overjoyed and just thrilled with just the support from the community. We're glad that we have grown this big so quickly, and more importantly, we're glad to get ready to onboard our next group of kids as 5th graders become 6th graders. So one last thing, this is not a program that exclusively is for 6th and 7th graders. We will be graduating with these kids. It's just as bad to jump in a kid's life and then to jump right out. So every year we'll have a new group of kids that are joining us. And we'll be traveling. So our 7th graders that are with us now, will be 8th graders. And we'll travel and see them to 9th grade and then to high school. Hopefully being able to guide, help them with making choices, help them with choosing classes. Today in tutoring, we talked about which clubs they're going to choose by the time they get to the 7th grade. And I got tons of rejection because they're not wanting to do clubs. But we're going to do it. We're going to try something new, experience something new. So thank you for having us tonight.